Hey, I'm Adriana Kofer. I am currently a part of the 2023 cohort in Teach for America, and this has been an amazing 2 years for me. So with that being said, I would just love to take a second to share things that I've learned in my 2 years in Teach for America, and also my future goals in education and how that inspires the work that I do and how I show up as a leader in and out of the classroom. So I'm an English 1 teacher at Dunbar High School in Fort Worth ISD, and my very first year, last year, I got an amazing opportunity to work alongside my campus intervention specialist to help her put on Dunbar's very first Young Girls Mental Health Symposium. It was just amazing to witness great speakers, panelists, and facilitators put on sessions and, of course, panels touching on real life issues that our young girls face, teaching them great gems, words of wisdom, and real and proactive healthy habits to combat different mental health issues and just other issues that they face in their teen years. Far beyond breathing exercises when you're stressed, right? Because I feel like that's kind of what I was taught. And honestly, in high school, nobody ever really talked to me about mental health and what that looks like and the reality of it. So that was great to be in that space my first year, because social and emotional health is so critical to me as a teacher. And I'm always trying to learn ways to proactively implement it in my classroom. Fast forward to my second year, I got the opportunity to be a prose and poetry coach in UIL. And I hopped on this opportunity because I really want my babies and just kids in general at Dunbar to know that their unique and amazing insight on the world, their life experiences, their background, and just their creative talents deserves and needs to be heard any and everywhere. And I say that because students of color oftentimes are kind of funneled into, seeking sports as extracurricular. And I want them to know that it's beauty in finding your voice as a writer. And I'm excited that I got that opportunity to find that in high school and early college. Going into what I've learned 2 really big things. The first thing I've learned is that even though I share the same experiences and background as my students, I can hold biases, I guess you could say, and I have to actively do the work to resist and unlearn those. And a big one that I had coming into the classroom was that kids who didn't care or didn't try, just didn't put in any effort into doing their work, I just thought, oh, they don't care, and that's just on them, right? And it wasn't until later on in my first year I realized that fear, lack of confidence, all of those things, trauma, right? They show up so differently. And a lot of times 14 and 15-year-olds don't have the courage to say, hey, I need help. Hey, I don't know what's going on. Hey, I don't know how to do this. So in my second year, I was just persistent and would constantly just support every single one of my students. And one student that comes to my mind is Carlos in my second period. He would be really resistant in the beginning of the year. He would just not even want to attempt work. And I want to say towards the middle of the first semester, he was showing up, trying to get his grade up, and grew as a writer really well. And I'm so glad that I was consistent with him, because I could have been a part of writing him off early in his academic journey. Secondly, another thing that I have learned is that leading with humility and empathy is critical and so rewarding as a teacher, and just as an overall leader. And the reason why I say that is because so many people would try to advise me to be mean and strict once they found out I was teaching high schoolers, once they found out I was teaching freshmen. I can't tell you how many times I heard, you need to be mean, you need to be strict, you cannot play around with them. And in my first year, I was like, that's not me. I'm just going to show up as myself. But my second year, I realized that leading with compliance and control is a really, really harmful, oppressive system that is intertwined into so many schools across the country. And it contributes to long-term negative effects with our students in underserved communities, but just in general. And the way that I've seen that be rewarding is I am close with students that I've never taught a day in my life. And even this year, a few of my students in my second period and my sixth period that are otherwise labeled as defiant, troubled kids, I'm the closest with. I've seen them grow as scholars over the school year. One student that I'm thinking about in general, Samuel, in my sixth period, I've literally heard principals and teachers talk horribly about him, but with me, we're close. I've seen him do well and persist every day when he comes to my class. And I'm so thankful that I've created a safe and wholesome space for him. And so that all kind of goes into my future goal as I want to be a high school principal one day. And what I'm learning right now is, what does equity really look like? That is a really big word, and it's a super critical value in education, but what does that really look like? And to me, that means giving your kids, of course, equal opportunities, but even tweaking your approach and your support to fit the needs of all of your students. And that contributes to their overall success. So I just want to end this by saying, graduating from Dunbar in 2019, to be able to come back to the very community that poured into me 4 years later has been a blessing, to say the least. And honestly, I just think it all goes back to our kids needing people who truly and genuinely believe in them, and to not have the savior approach, to actually have standards and expectations really high. That really paid off for me my second year, having those expectations here. So yeah, this work is amazing. It's great, and I'm excited to keep growing as a leader and an educator.